All right, so Jey Uso lost the Intercontinental Championship last night to Braun Breaker due to the help of the Diet Bloodline. Now, before we get into the match itself, I'm very curious about something. I am wondering, what is Rikishi thinking right now? Because I know for a fact that when he gets to this podcast today, he is going to blow a head gasket. Because if you think he was mad because WWE never gave Jey a singles title shot, this is worse. A short title reign is gonna make him way worse. Okay, if you thought that he was mad at Vince Russo for making fun of Jey Uso for crying after getting that title, this is gonna be way worse. It's gonna be entertaining to see what he has to say. I get it. I know most of you guys are tired of hearing Rikishi talk about this whole situation, and in some situations, I agree. But at the end of the day, that's his son. That's his podcast. He gonna say whatever he wants, regardless if we like it or not. So hey, I'm gonna be nosy. I'm gonna check into it, but as far as the match itself, I thought the match was pretty good. I thought we had some really great moments in that match. And the highlight of the match was actually not what was going on in the ring, but what was going on outside of the ring with the involvement of the Diet Bloodline. We saw what happened. Solo Sikoa came to the barricade, and he is honestly my favorite version of Solo Sikoa as the tribal chief at this point. He is hilarious right now. And I know the tribal chief is supposed to be serious, supposed to be menacing, supposed to be methodical, all that stuff. And he tried that, and everybody cooked him for it. They said he had no aura. They said he's garbage, he's trash, he shouldn't be the tribal chief, which I don't fully disagree with you guys on that. But now he flipped the script and then turned into a person who has a little bit more of a comedic element in it. I mean, it started last week when he had the promo with Jey Uso, and he said, "You came out here talking about yeet, yeet." And now this week, he comes down, he shows that he bought a Yeet t-shirt, he pulls out 2 tickets, he's like, "Look, I got 2 tickets, one for me, one for him," and it had me dying laughing, bro. I love this version of Solo Sikoa. Do I still want him to be the tribal chief? Not really, but this version feels so much more natural than him trying to emulate a version of Roman Reigns, and it just seems so ridiculous because he has this soft 90s R&B voice, and he's trying to get people to believe him, to scare people. I don't know. I think the only person with a voice like that was scary was Emerald from You Got Served, but that's a whole different story for a different day. But the whole premise of Jey Uso losing his title is an interesting one, right? I know a lot of people are pretty upset about it because they wanted it to last longer, but we all knew, right? We this was more predictable than taxes being taken out of our paychecks. We knew that Jey Uso was going to lose his title going into the Bloodline Civil War. We knew that because it just didn't make sense for him to have it going into that situation because it was just going to get lost in the shuffle, right? We knew that, right? So for me, if the plan at the end of the day was for him to just lose it right back to Braun Breaker before going into Survivor Series, why not just keep the title on Braun Breaker and let him have a long title run, even though he doesn't necessarily need one, or have him lose it to someone else? Why lose it to Jey Uso and then have Jey Uso lose it right back to him before going into Survivor Series? Now, don't get me wrong, putting the title on him, it was an amazing moment. I loved it. Him going to the ring, bringing his son out, changing the color of the IC title, it boosted so much things for him, probably helped in sales and everything. I get it from the business aspect, and for people who are huge fans of Jey Uso, I completely get it. I get it. Him with that title, it looks great. It looks amazing with the new color, all that stuff looks great. But just thinking about the whole trajectory of everything, why do that? If you're going to give it right back to Braun Breaker, you could have just let him have a pretty decent long title reign until he loses it to whoever else he was going to lose it to. Now the question is, what do we do now? After the Civil War, does Jey Uso end up on SmackDown and eventually take the title off of the Guerrillas of Destiny somehow? Is that the case? Does he take the title off of Gunther at some point? If that's the case, then they still could have kind of held off on him getting this title. Like, I'm not understanding what exactly is the plan here. It doesn't make any sense. And sometimes that's great when you don't know, but it's just like, I don't know. You already got the Jey Uso fans. They're upset because he had a short title reign, and then you got people not really understanding why exactly this happened the way it happened. Now, I get that this was used as a way to get Jey to go after the bloodline. Someone losing their title, yeah, of course, that's going to make somebody mad enough to go to the other brand and have to approach the Bloodline 2.0. But then again, we still don't understand why did Jey Uso even go to SmackDown last week, because the bloodline wasn't doing anything to him. They just minded their own business. They had nothing to do with him. And you could say that it has to do with them beating up his brother, but then it's like, the first time that that Jimmy got destroyed on SmackDown, why didn't Jey Uso come over there after that? So I'm trying to think about it in story, and I get that Jimmy had to get written off of TV due to injury, but I'm just trying to think of it as far as the story goes, how it all makes sense, right? But at the end of the day, it's going to be very interesting to see how this whole thing plays out. What are they going to do next? I don't know. What do you guys think they should do? Do you think this was a good idea? Do you think this was a bad idea? Do you think that they should have kept the title on Braun Breaker? Or do you think putting it on Jey Uso for a short title reign was a great idea? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching. Salute, peace, have a good day.